Hi, folks. Well, the rumors are true. My credentials got revoked. Uh, you know, they said something about it having to do with, blowing stuff up on the launch pad and playing while the people were talking about serious stuff. And didn't need this apparently. And then, so much so that Jeb just doesn't trust my math. So, unfortunately, they said that I gotta go back to school, and so I got to use this new software that they just received from Earth. So they say I had to go to back to school, and they got this software from Earth called Simple Rockets 2 that's supposed to help teach me all this orbital mechanics in a way that, has less, how shall we say, operator error? Actually, it has some ability for operator error, obviously. But anyway, so here we have an Ares 5 heavy lift carrier rocket that we just readily downloaded. And let's go ahead and mess with that one. Oh, look, what do you know? Designer tutorials and stuff. Why did I not see that earlier? Huh. Do, 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 do. So this is an early access version, right? So there's all sorts of possible bugs that may be lurking about. Yeah, I don't want to start that. I can just go ahead and launch. Alright, let's went to build craft. So this is, they have no outside view of the various buildings of like the Space Center on Kerbal. But here's essentially the VAB, the vehicle building. So you download a new craft, load, save, etc. But they've very well, and this was part of the logic, they've simplified it. So here's staging. Remember staging? So we got some solid rocket motors, various Apex engines, the decouplers they call inner stages, side inner stages to let go of the solid rocket boosters, and some other small solid rocket booster motors. I'm not sure what that would be. Oh, interesting. So these are little solid rocket boosters on the sides
You just
of.
put each one.
Huh?
You put each one.
Well, I just downloaded this craft conveniently.
It says times 6.
Yeah. So you see the? Can you see the little highlight
Yeah.
of where each of these are? So
Yeah.
so the boosters not only decouple, but they actually have little rockets on them to get them away from the craft cleanly. That'd be nice. That was something we didn't have. I guess we could. Now that we have some little tiny rockets, this might be a good idea. So this is like a U.S. standard Ares 5 from the upcoming Ares rocket program. So these are the pros that know what they're doing when it comes to assembling a rocket. So they're like, hey, we need the boosters to get the hell out of the way. So, and then we got stage 3, which is another engine and interstage. So, one of the things that's, I guess, one of the major points of this is when you go in to build a new craft, right? We're going to start our own little rocket, right? Here's our own little rocket, which is the stock thing.
Yeah.
And you remember how it had all these different part categories.
Yeah.
So there's less part categories, and they're meant to be more straightforward. Like there's only one heat shield, right? And what you do is you take a heat shield.
Price vary with size.
Yeah, you take the heat shield and you go into here the part settings, um, and seamless edges, stuff like this. And then where was it? Tinker panel. Part scale. There we go. So we can make whatever size heat shield we want, right? Increase the mass, how much heat shielding it actually provides, stuff like this. So it's very parameterized, as they would say. But rather than having, a category of 5 heat shields to choose from. So this is pretty much build your own rocket, but you can really be your own rocket designer here, where you can add up all these and
Well, it says how
all
much
the
it
masses.
weighs and how much it is worth.
Yeah, and some cases it has a price tag, $383. Really? That's a cheap heat shield. What kind of dead weight it has? I guess amount of dead weight to include with this part to adjust the center of mass of your craft. Oh, that sounds useful. So you get the general idea.
Huh.
Is that uh, here's the moving options. You can paint it. They let you paint it with various textures and stuff, so you get all sorts of options in that sense. You really want to be artistic. What about your rocket? Paint shape tool.
No
Rotate
shapeable part. Select it.
Rotate, translate part. Stuff like that. Seems like there would, maybe could be a parachute on this. First off, this guy can go away. But, maybe there should be a parachute here, you think? So let's see. New part. Parachute part.
I thought if you bought it, it would already be there.
Well, this one was, remember I started a new craft?
No.
Oh, well, I started a new craft. And to show the editing. So we say we want a parachute, right? And this, instead of clicking, it's a literal click and drag. Bloop. No soft background music. Ding 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 ding. So in other words, it's got one of each item, and then you scale up the item and you paint the item, and you can make any old rocket you care to spend
really
the time on.
Detailed oriented.
Yeah, it's very detail oriented, and also you got some gizmos like an astronaut. He's only $6 million. He's the $6 million man. The $6 million astronaut. I suppose. Some nozzles. Everybody needs a nozzle or two. Landing gear, rover wheel, pistons. So there's no, that I can tell, there's no plot line to go with this. It's more of a pure simulation.
So you don't even fly it at all?
Oh, you do fly it. In fact, let's put some fins on this poor thing at least. I don't think it's gonna fly well without at least fins. So here we go, getting into it without any reading of the instructions or taking of the what do you call?
What do you call?
All right. This is the mirror tool. So we got to drag the fin, stick the fin on, right? And we can scale the fin in all sorts of ways. That's the fin I like, I tell you what.
You'll spend all day doing that.
Right? So let us mirror these things. Mirror the selected part to the other side. It is a selected part. That doesn't look like a mirror to me. Mirror the right side of the craft to the other side of the craft. Mirrored one parts to the other side of what? Annoying. Oh, geez, really? Oh, I see. There's my mirror plane.
You have to show
Mirror.
it.
Frustration. Alright, well, before we get too frustrated on the construction side, let's just cheat and load a craft that's already existent. Oh, these are all the examples. I went to
Super
downloaded
heavy.
craft.
Simple beast.
Simple beast. So let's see. I don't know what happened to my fin.
It
So
disappeared.
so anyway, yeah. So anyway, interesting set of tools. What happened to edit program? Oh yeah, that was the other part of this. This is this. Oh god. Set variable. This little stacky programming kind of scheme. On start, set variable a to 0. Change variable 3. Change variable a by 3. Anyway, apparently this all ties into being able to read values, figure out how fast you're going, fire your rockets, all that kind of stuff. But we'll get into that. Well, maybe I'll get into that. I don't know how far I'll get into this or stay with this. It is called Adventures on Kerbal after all, right? So we will get back to Kerbal, I'm sure, from time to time. I just heard a lot about this one. So let's see. I thought I had simple cargo. Oof. Alrighty then. What in the world does that look like?
Huge.
View options. Camera positions. Look at it from the other side. Look at it from above. Alrighty then.
Does it have a light?
I don't know. Let's see.
It's very phallic.
Ooh, jeez. Look at all the parts. Got himself some fuel adapters, some fuel tanks, some inner stages. Got a not part properties.
So when are you gonna actually shoot
Stage.
it off?
I don't know. Let's shoot this thing off. So this is where we get back to the idea that you should
That's
really
cool. That's a nice graphic.
stay used to the WASD stuff because of course I haven't bothered to set up the joystick on this thing yet.
I like
So
the hexagons.
so
1, 2,
since
3, 4,
nobody
5, 6.
can decide on flipping standard for the viewing, this is left mouse button to orbit and right mouse button to move your point of view around for some reason. I don't know why you want to do that, but that'll bring you back. But in any case,
That's a nice launch pad.
yeah, right. Big old launch pad. There's a nice angular launch complex building. And there's no nav ball. So this is a whole nother way of pilotage, as best I can tell. I did play around with one or two of these
Did you?
just to get a general idea, so I didn't come in here completely new. But it's, pretty much throttle up and staging 3, 2, 1. Kablowie! And where is the.
Where does it go? Well, it's got better
Where's my.
graphics,
What
that's for
happened to my
sure.
desktop sound? I got no sound out of the game.
I got no sound.
What in the world? So we're gonna just sort of cruise up here. Let's see what we got. Battery, velocity, the engine thrust, staging, thrust to weight ratio, craft mass, going Mach 6.6. Here's our apoapsis and the like. So a nice view on the way up here.
Great graphics. You can actually see the valleys, see the mountains.
Yeah, I turned up the terrain. And see, it has this convenient thing called autopilot. Range. It's the range of the pitch
Those are
sliders.
great graphics. Terrain graphics, those are great.
So this proportional integral derivative, these three settings,
Yeah.
that's in the staging. There we go. We staged.
Ooh.
So the PID is what it's a type of controller used in remote control things. So that you can actually adjust it there, that kind of thing. It gets a pretty low level of adjustment. Real quick here, let's see what our orbital.
Where is your drone?
That's up there. Let's see, what is our orbit? Orbit. Apoapsis. Here's our altitude. We're about to crack the. I think we're cracking the atmosphere. I'm not exactly sure on this one where the atmosphere is, but it was 70 kilometers on the other one. So this does also have a map mode, so we won't do these blind burns, right? No blind burns. And it kind of looks like Kerbin from this view.
Ish,
yeah.
Ish.
And then here's the interesting kind of the more interesting part. So this orange part is our debris, the stage we staged. This weird little cone is us. Here is our apoapsis. So same kind of thing with Kerbin and the nav nodes. So I don't know if the has orbit details and visibility. Maybe this has another way of managing that, the exact position.
Same.
Actually, I can just wait until I get there. So where did it go? Here we go. Delete the plan to burn. All right. There it is. That is
translation mode disabled.
Yeah, this is lock velocity prograde. So that's the equivalent of the nav ball of putting the nav ball on prograde. And now if I start firing my engines, and as you can kind of see, I don't seem to be having such a great positioning here. If I can figure out which way I'm looking. I don't know. Looks like I'm going downward. Ah! Don't do that. Flip around. Go retrograde. Go that way.
That's the
must have
exact same
fired.
thing.
Must have fired a little bit. It kind of cut. Well, so this getting into orbit part is a little off, to say the least. I had better luck with the other rocket, to tell you the truth. We're gonna just end this flight here. Undo flight. Undo and exit.
Undo flight.
I had much better luck with
Try again.
where'd he go? Load craft. I did the download craft, and where'd he go? Where'd he go? Where'd he go? You want a space shuttle?
Sure.
Yeah, let's just fire up a space shuttle. Why not?
Why not?
This is one of the more complicated ones. Why not? For our first flight, sure. Oof. This looks like it's gonna be problematic. Let's see if we can mess up a space shuttle. I'm pretty sure we're going to. If we try and launch this thing, I don't think it's going to go well. This is probably not going to look good. Because it's a pretty complicated flight pattern this one goes through. I thought I said launch. Oh, jeez. So I think they start off at full thrust and then they got to throttle back and all this kind of thing. Luckily, it doesn't look like there's any kind of score being kept here. If there is, I haven't figured it out yet. Alright. Well, at least it should look cool. I'd kind of like to get the sound going. Why is the sound not going? I got desktop audio on. Settings. Oh, found lights. Found the light. But I'm not finding the sound. Now let's check the baseline Windows panel first off. Volume mixer. Everybody's got sound. Odd.
I don't have sound.
Come on. Did you hear the bling?
No. Yes. I just heard it.
Alright,
Yes.
well that's the volume. What in the world happened to the audio? Seems to be a problem with these games. We have some weird connection to the audio. Do a quick save while we're here, just so we can come back to it. Warp speed. Here's all the warp speedness. Share sandbox, take a picture. Guess we just do in-flight. Do flight. Do exit. Are you seeing my...
It just says loading.
Are you seeing the big blue cursor? Guess it doesn't look so big on there.
No, it's a little bitty cursor.
But it's blue?
Yeah.
Alright. We're gonna experiment with that on the explainer video that I was looking at. So I wanted to make the mouse cursor easier to see.
Awesome.
Alright. Settings. Game. All the speeds. Audio. Master volume.
Master volume. They're all medium in the middle.
How do I know if the game's actually making sound at the moment? That's a problem. I guess there's a purpose to having background music,
That's
right?
a problem.
So that's what happened earlier. I went straight into this, see if I can build this rocket mode. Space shuttle. Div tool. Well, that seems, well, we'll see here when we make a bunch of explosions here shortly. Because, or at least we should at least launch.
Launch it.
Alright, well, let's go full throttle, I suppose. Right? We go through full throttle, and then we go kablowy. This sounds really... Oh, that's some pretty decent smoke effect there. And then, as they take off, they would typically roll backwards. I don't know quite how far back they rolled, but it always looked like they were nearly upside down. Apparently they did this because the antennae are on the top of the space shuttle. The shuttle itself. Yes, that looks good. I suppose. It's our performance. Apparently this 82% down here is remaining fuel in stage. Where would we be without mouse pop-up?
Wow.
autopiloting. That might be useful. So, really annoying without music or sound effect there. Girlfriend, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, we don't know where we're going. We're just going up and slightly at an angle. Somewhere along here. Oh, there we go. Solid rocket boosters away. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Tank set. I'm going to keep burning until I run out of this, because it is just an orbiter, right? I probably will never be able to make it outside of orbit with this amount of fuel. Question is, will I make it into orbit? I've got a ways to the apoapsis. So what I had done earlier was there's the apoapsis. There's our fuel burn. It takes so long to burn to get to orbit. Alright, that's how much we have to burn to get to orbit. The question is, when do I shut down my engines and coast the rest of the way to the apoapsis? Or do I just keep burning? I don't actually remember whether they did that or not. I'm just gonna keep on burning. I keep burning till I got no more fuel. Ba-doo boop, ba-doo ba-dee doop doop. Well, clearly I stopped burning. Because my apoapsis beat my target spot. Now I got a new apoapsis. So much for this nav node. New nav node. Bound to be a better way of doing this, but alright, cool. That looks like a decent orbit. Now we do auto burn, so I don't have to worry about how I do it. And then warp to the burn. So it figured out for us that we needed to be at that angle and fire before we got to the apo. You'll notice we're at full throttle now. And our orbit is changing. I wonder if we can send the shuttle to the moon. Can we send a shuttle to the moon? I'm still doing this burn. Doo-doo-doo. Oh, how I like automation. Especially when it comes to flying rockets. So I don't know. Is this more is this more talent or less? Now, if I could get it all programmed to do this, so that it's you take off, you stage, You get to 100 meters per second speed, then you turn to such and such angle inclination, and so on and so forth and so on. So that whole launch procedure is handled automatically. Now, don't get me wrong, I do like the idea, the sci-fi fantasy of arbitrary and ad hoc space travel, where you have sort of somehow have nearly unlimited fuel, and you can get blown from place to place relatively quickly. All that kind of thing. One hundred 56 kilometers. Pretty low Earth orbit, isn't it? I think it would be. And here it comes. Finishing up the auto burn for us. And boop. It cuts the engines for us. Ain't that nice and convenient? Yeah, it takes a whole lot of the talent and the and the gaming part out of the game, but it helps get across the point of what it takes to get into orbit in one attempt. So now let's look at what kind of solar system we have here. We got one moon and one sun, and this here planet, and that there planet. Well, it's got a bit of a solar system. It's not totally tiny. Looks like a little dwarf star that everybody's circling around, though. No, no Venus or Mercury. In fact, this thing looks like Kerbin more than Earth. This is was Kerbin always a stock asset or something that I didn't know of? This was stock planet number 7. Look, I got 7% fuel, just enough to deorbit. Oh god, that's gonna be horrendous. I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Let's go look at what we look like now. Oh, perhaps we should. Wait. We have fuel tanks, don't we? Cargo bay. Space shuttle had fuel tanks outside of the. Yeah. 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 This thing's probably empty. Yeah. Oh, it's got 7% left. Well, it's going bye bye. I don't know if that's a good direction to point in when you're releasing a big orange fuel tank onto the air. Oh, look, I accidentally shifted the direction of things. It's an interesting way of showing it. Let's see. If that's the way I'm going in space. I seem to be missing a direction. Oh, now I see what it is. Alright. So let's point that way a bit. I'm not sure which way I'm pointing. Or rather, I'm not sure which way to turn to make things change to the way it's pointing. Burning up, retro fuel just to.
You really need a nav ball, hey?
Yeah, I think the nav ball is preferable to this. Of course, that's part of my goal is to make my own nav ball with these feeding with these feeding the nav ball data. So, doodly-doo, see where we're going. So we're kind of retrograde-ish. Yeah, we'll want to be retrograde when we do our deorbit burn. But right now, let us drop this here stage. Whoa, there goes the fuel tank. Do we get to see the fuel tank burn up on re-entry? Be cool.
Does it burn up?
No, I did turn on a thing called re-entry effects, so I'm assuming. So.
So.
Oh. Ah, that's what that is. So that's locked velocity prograde. Lock velocity retrograde. And in doing so, it's going to attempt to maneuver the ship into those positions. So let's lock velocity that way. Since we're going to have to do a retrofire to deorbit. It did a retrofire to deorbit, and it was upside down when it did that, with the top facing the planet. So that it would retrofire and then kind of do this maneuver for re-entry. I don't know what can't tell if my hand's in shot. So it's flying upside down. It retrofires, and that slows it down, and then it goes this maneuver. So we'll attempt that. I don't know how good I am going to be at landing it as an airplane, that's for sure. Where's my roll? Oh, well, let's see. This is the pitch and roll. Doesn't seem very responsive. I got my battery. Hi, fuel tank. Yes. Can we like build or explode this part with caution? Or not? Well, let's blow it up.
Why not?
Kablam! Oh, that was maybe not such a good idea. We blew it up back into space. Ah, stupid fuel tanks. Now a bunch of debris we might run into.
Oh no.
Oh no, Mr. Bill. They warned us though, didn't they?
Yeah.
Alright. I can't tell how much. Okay, let's unlock that. Am I rotating? I can't tell if I'm rotating.
Am I rotating?
There's pitch, roll, yaw, but it doesn't seem to have much of an effect. One way or the other. Is it only good if I got rockets firing? That's annoying. Where's my reaction control thrusters? Don't I have orbit autopilot options? Wing vectors. Velocities. I'm trying to get myself rotated back around so I can do this surfing maneuver.
You don't know what you're doing, do you? Just admit it.
Well, no, there was never any doubt of whether I knew what I was doing, especially with this game. But I'm kind of at a loss as to how I'm supposed to roll the craft. The usual controls, maybe they're just slow. I mean, there's all the Like the locations I want it to be or change. But the craft itself isn't changing. It's just that it's really slow. Yeah, there we go. That's the problem.
That's your problem right there.
It just got awful slow when it comes to changing position. Which it is a big craft, so I will give it that. So let's see. We want the nose up to begin with. Alright. Hmm. Hmm. No. This is backwards. He's supposed to be kinda like there-ish. Now so I seem to be missing, like I said, I seem to be missing a direction here.
You said that you don't know.
Well, this works. That's A and D. W and S work nicely. But it was Q and E that did roll. Ooh. Changing the camera view most dramatically. What is that? Quit that! Where am I? Stupid dark side of the planet. Can't see. Every 45 minutes, I'm going around the dark side of the planet. So yeah, I've got 2 out of 3 controls. And I guess we'll see what happens when you hit the atmosphere at an odd angle. I guess. Stupid dark side. I have yet to start my re-entry burn, I tell you what. I'm waiting on some daylight. This point.
Oh,
I suppose I could put well, first off, we'll come off this. If we put a nav node here, and we retro in the nav node, we don't want to retro quite that far down. What in the world?
what in the world?
Why is my throttle up?
Oh, then you're hauling ass.
Again with the freaking stupid throttle controls. Auto burn not achievable. Well, good. I didn't think I gave you any auto burns. Ah! Simple rockets in quotes is right, right? Alright. Try this again. We do a little retro. Oh, I guess it's just gonna auto do every nav node now, huh? Be that way. We'll just do it for a ballistic descent. Why not? Fast forward to nav node. Begin retro burn in ridiculous position. Well, this might be a very dramatic burning up of a space shuttle on re-entry. Given that I can't seem to control the roll. Maybe I can control the roll now. Nope. Quit that. Alright, well, we gotta get our nose turned around like there-ish. Recovery teams are standing by. You mean debris locators? Well, let's just see how this abomination happens at this point.
Well, you got an hour. 55 minutes anyway.
Maybe he'll balance out. I don't know.
Sure.
Sure, why not? Maybe once he gets some atmosphere. Well, either way, we're either going to burn up on the way in or when we hit that spot. Spot! Whoa! Alright, well, I guess we'll see. Here comes some weird re-entry. Since it seems to be nearly impossible to control the orientation of this spacecraft.
Well, there's at least north and stuff, it said on there.
Just seems to be off-angled from where it needs to be.
Yeah, that definitely looks off.
Well, it stopped apparently 60,000 meters is the atmosphere on this planet. Flying sideways. Doo doo doo. Why are you freaking tumbling? Oh, he's going in nose down. This ain't good.
That can't be good.
This can't be good. He's doing 3,000 meters a second. Obviously, he's going to need to slow down. It's going backwards. Oh, he's getting warm. He's getting warm. Oh, the wrong side is getting warm.
Oh,
this isn't going to be pretty. This is the whole roll I had no control over. Oops. Oops. Oops.
Oh.
Oh, you're getting bright. Bling, 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 blam.
Things are blowing up. Fuel tank strut, wing strut exploded. Wing.
Kablam, blam, 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 blam.
Excessive heat damage. Oh, look at that hydraulic fluid.
Pressure readings off nominal.
Structural panel exploded.
Oh, there she goes.
Strut exploded.
Wah, wah, wah.
Oh.
Well, it turns out you can't fly a space shuttle with zero training in an application you've just tried out for 5 minutes. What do you know?
Well, hi everybody that came in to watch that happen.
Did you love me blow it up?
There's quite a few people that watched that
Chair
happen.
exploded. Astronaut exploded. What? You mean there's like stuff back there somewhere still blowing up? I still think there's some part flying around. I don't know which
Oh.
part is still a piece of rocket. Hinge rotator exploded. Where'd it all go? Now I'm just in the stealth jet. It was a radio controlled space shuttle. There was no crew. Debris filled everywhere.
You killed people on the ground.
Maybe. It's an uninhabited planet. What happened to my roll? Why I ain't got no roll? What's this about? Mr. Simple Rockets, I'm gonna report it as a bug because there ain't no roll.
Well, lots of people came in to watch you way more than the other one. Way more than last.
Well, this is something
one
new.
hour.
Yeah, that's about enough for now. I got all sorts of busy work, or work that I'm busy with. So, alrighty. Well, that was a fun little preview. I may actually play with it here and there. Alrighty. I don't know if you saw the first part there. We kind of lost our privileges on Kerbal. So anyway, bye.
Take it, button, yay!